Hello friends, this is Summer once again from Sunny Tech and welcome to another video on Git and GitHub. So recently, on my recent video was about how to collaborate on GitHub or multiple developers working on the project remotely from their ends. Okay, so I'll be leaving a link to that in the description down below. And I would like to see if you're new to my channel and you haven't subscribed yet, consider subscribing. Please like this video, please comment, please share so I know your thoughts. And also, if you're interested in stuff related to web development, PC tricks, mobile development, programming, coding, WordPress related stuff, this is the right place for you. Okay, so I'll see you in the next part of the video. Okay, so welcome back. Okay, so in this one I'll be walking you through some of the fundamentals of GitHub for beginners, or some of the fundamentals of GitHub you need as a beginner. And I'll be an instructor for this video, of course. It's your favorite boy, Samuel Agbenyo. Okay, so let's jump right in once again. Okay, so essentially be looking at this stuff. So we'll be looking at what GitHub is. We'll be looking at what Git and Git Bash is. We'll be looking at what a pull request is. We'll be looking at merging. We'll be looking at conflicts in GitHub, branches and repositories and stuff like that. Okay, so let's jump to the main part. What is GitHub? So essentially GitHub is a version control system that allows multiple developers to work on a project, and it allows developers to also track changes in their code over time. Great. Okay, so GitHub is used to store and manage different versions of a project, and as I said, it can be used to collaborate on a project. So one of the advantages of using GitHub is that it makes it easy for developers to keep up with their latest trends of software development by following others or other users' repositories. Okay, so this brings us to what a repository is. So a repository is like a folder in the cloud where you push your code base there. Okay, so let me show you how to create a repository real quick. Okay, so next, what is Git? Okay, so essentially Git is a version control system that allows developers to track changes in their code over time, and it is used to store and manage different versions of a project, and it can be used to collaborate with other developers. It's just similar to this GitHub. They are interrelated. Okay, so let's see what Git Bash is. So I have here, and it says Git Bash is a command line interface for using Git on Windows. Okay, and it provides an emulation layer for Unix style command line environment on Windows, and it includes SSH clients which can be used to access remote repositories and perform other operations. And it also includes the basic Unix commands such as ls, cd, make directory, and others. Okay, so let me show you Git Bash. So we have Git Bash. So let me open Git Bash. It's just like a normal or the regular terminal, CMD terminal, PowerShell. So it supports most of the Linux commands. Okay, so this is Git Bash, and we have the Git Bash GUI or the graphic user interface. Okay, so now let's move on. Okay, so what then is a pull request? So essentially, a pull request is a feature in GitHub that allows you to suggest changes to a project. So for example, you can make changes to a file in your fork of the repository and then submit a pull request to the original repository. Okay, so for you to merge. Okay, and this allows the maintainers of the repository to review and approve the changes or suggest additional changes. So let's say I create a branch from the main code base, and I make my changes. I can do a pull request, and the maintainers or the owner of the repository is going to review the code. If there are no conflicts and the code is good code, you can merge it. Because we're looking at what merge and conflicts and branches are in the Jiffy. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so we have branching, and say, so what's merging? So merging is when two branches of code are combined into one, and this can be done manually, automatically using GitHub's merge feature. And you can merge the changes into the original repository. Or another definition of merging is the process of integrating the changes from one branch into another. In GitHub, you can use the merge button to merge your changes into the main branch of the repository. Okay, so great. Okay, so what then is conflicts in GitHub? So conflicts do happen when you make a pull request and you're trying to merge. It can be complex. Okay, so but what happens when there are conflicting changes? So this is what happens. So conflict occurs, as I said. So when you try to merge the conflicting changes, GitHub will show you the conflicts, and you need to resolve them manually. You can resolve the conflict by choosing which changes to keep and which to discard. So this happens from the branching and people working from their ends and writing similar code or working on similar part of the code or working on a particular file. It happens most of the time and it's sometimes troublesome. Okay, so let's move on. So what then is a branch in GitHub? So in GitHub, a branch is a separate version of a repository that allows developers or users to work on different aspects of the project without affecting the main branch or without affecting the main code base, because later they're going to merge it. Okay, so for example, you could create a branch to test a new feature, fix a bug, or experiment with a different approach. Okay, and branching allows you to also isolate the new work from the main code base and make sure that any changes you make don't affect the main project. You can use branch to experiment, with new features, fix bugs, or even create entirely new projects. Okay, so essentially we've come to the end of this little discussion about GitHub. And before we continue, or before I say goodbye, I would like to show you something or where you can download Git Bash and Git Bash from. Okay, so when you visit your browser and you search for Git Bash, click on the very first search results you see, but to be specific, the one from git-scm.com. Okay, so when you click on it, you'll be linked to or redirected to their download speed, and you download the best match of Git for your operating system. And I spoke about repositories, so when you visit your or you log in into your GitHub account, if you don't have one, you can just sign up and hit on the repositories tab, and then you can proceed to new repository. My internet is a bit slow, and you can create a repository. So we have two types of repositories. You have the private repo and the public repo. So as the name suggests, the public repository is accessible or everyone can see it, and the private ones are only accessible to just the user, and people can see it when you give them an invite or you make them collaborators on the repository. Okay, so great. Okay, so thanks so much for watching this video. Don't forget to give this video a like, please comment, please share, and please subscribe. And I hope this helped you understand GitHub and get better. Okay, so I'll be leaving all the various links in the description down below. Okay, so see you in the other tutorials. I'll be making lots and lots of tutorials about React Native, web development, so about Next.js, React stuff, and some backend stuff coming soon.